Hello viewers, welcome to Mate TV. There are rumors that some governors have plans to rig the Saturday polls with thugs and fake uniform men to intimidate voters and also disenfranchise some set of people. And they're also working with the INEC to rig the Saturday polls. These are rumors.
With 48 hours to the governorship and state house of assembly elections, concerns have heightened over alleged move by governors to rig the elections by all means possible, including resorting to extrajudicial means to compromise the process, aside allegedly recruiting thugs to help them disrupt the process to garner more votes. These day findings have revealed that one of the means through which the governors intend to rig the exercise is by working with the resident electoral commissioners, recs in their respective states. In addition to this is another alleged plan to further compromise the electoral officers, thus making the falsification of results much easier than it was in the previous exercise. The third idea being alleged is considered as part of the rigging plan is to frustrate the bimodal voters accreditation system BVAS from working, a situation that will enable them to handle the collation of results manually through their proxies for desired outcome. To give force of effect to some of the other plans, the governors, allegedly in cahoots with security agencies, have started to arrest some prominent opposition members, especially in northern Nigeria, and forcing them to vote for people to vote against their wish. I mean, Ayo, these plans are out there, but we know them already.
Yes, we do. However, it's important for us to highlight them. Mm-hmm. 2 days to the elections, yesterday we spoke quite in detail as to some of the concerns ahead of gubernatorial and state house of assembly elections on Saturday. Very importantly, what we emphasized on was the importance of learning lessons from the presidential elections. And we stated some points. I'm very happy that we are now talking about this again, particularly because we are raising the alarm now so that action can be taken. It will be quite sad if, having had these kinds of conversations, intelligence, information, we still head to the polls on Saturday and these things manifest. It would be an indictment on security agencies, an indictment on INEC themselves, because if the issues are clear for people to see in terms of analysts, observers, then and INEC and the security agencies don't deal with these problems, then there must be some truth to the idea of a connivance at the very top in this regard. Now, let's go to some of the things that they've mentioned. And for emphasis, we talk about these things because we must continue to raise these points, particularly because when you embark on a project and you're able to do a risk assessment, the plan or the idea for the risk assessment is in order to mitigate those risks. So we have been able to identify risk areas and the opportunity for these risks to be mitigated. The first, as was judged across all states, just observing and analyzing the different states that were polled here. We had Cross River State, Benue State, a host of others. In fact, almost no state was exempt. The main thread across these states was that the sitting governor was either conniving with INEC and INEC officials and security agencies to jeopardize or rig the elections come Saturday. And these alarms were raised by the main opposition parties in some instances. Now, this election is very unique because following the presidential elections and the outcome of that election, the upsets, major upsets in certain states, we have seen the desperation heightened by some of these principles. They are desperate to retain power. They're desperate to not allow what happened on the 25th of February to repeat itself come Saturday. Now, in terms of desperation, the action following that is what then matters. Rather than going to demonstrate their track record, campaigning to the people, they're resorting to extrajudicial activities to ensure that they retain these votes. First of all, of grave concern from these findings is the fact that some of these governors, some opposition parties have raised alarm that some of these governors are going to clothe thugs in official security attire so that they can cause some sort of mayhem on Saturday. This is a message for security agencies. A strong note of warning was made by the National Security Advisor, Major General Baba Gana Mongono, retired, when he had the interagency conversation with INEC and security agencies. And he talked about the fact that there was not going to be any room for security hanky-panky. Allow me to use that word. He said that. And so this is a call that these hotspots that have been mentioned, the police, who are the lead agency, and the military, who are support agencies, should not turn a blind eye. The second part, of course, is talking about beavers tampering. We saw how, we've seen how this has played out in the last election. INEC has assured Nigerians that the beavers has been reconfigured and they're on their way out to the different polling units. Therefore, based on their saying, there should be no room for logistics issues, beavers misbehaving, not being able to upload to IREB. It should work smoothly. This is another red flag. If the red flag has been identified, the onus is on INEC to then ensure that we do not have issues around that. And then the big one around voter suppression and intimidation. I'm glad we're going to be talking about this later on during Trending, where we have some traditional rulers stepping in to call for certain traditional rights and activities to take place in this period of time. We've looked at people who have been saying, whatever it takes, we must snatch it, we must take it, we must ensure we deliver this polling unit. Security agencies must come 100% come Saturday. And just a final note to Nigerians. You came out on the 25th of February. Despite all the shortcomings, your voices were still heard. Please, this is your right and your opportunity to exercise your franchise come Saturday. Do not be intimidated. The security agencies have said they're on top of things, and you must be able to come out to exercise your franchise and protect your votes as well.
Dr. Martin?
Okay, what is the context for tomorrow, for Saturday's election? More constituencies, about 1,021 constituencies where elections will take place, up from 470 constituencies on February 25. Number of candidates that will be in the election at the gubernatorial level in 28 states and in state houses of assembly, over 930 candidates. Further, this is local elections, this is state elections. So the stakes are higher. However, this is against the background of the experience that Nigerians had on February 25. It is, common wisdom, received opinion, that the Independent National Electoral Commission didn't do well on February 25. Both local and international observers noted that the conduct of the elections did not meet the expectations of Nigerians. Two, that there were many irregularities, including technical hitches that INEC has still not been able to explain to Nigerians. And in any case, of course, that election of February 25, there were issues about electronic transmission, about INEC obeying the laws, its own enabling laws, and the Enabling Electoral Act 2022. So Nigerians now go to the polls on February 25 with a lot of apprehension. And the big question is, has INEC been able to learn its lessons? Do the security agencies realize that it also did not do well on February 25? Will there be an improvement on March 18 when Nigeria again goes to the polls? 2 days ago, at the Interconsultative Agency Committee meeting on electoral security, we were reassured by all the parties concerned that they are ready. But the question is, are they ready? This is the context for this report in this day newspaper that some governors are planning to rig Saturday's polls. Well, many of those governors lost their ambition to go to the Senate. Many of the states witnessed disruptions hitherto unseen, with the Labour Party causing very massive disruption, changing the political map in different parts of the country. Those incumbent governors who lost their tickets, who could not go to the Senate, they know, of course, that they don't have a stronghold. And so that could be a justification for the concerns that have been expressed in some of the states, from Lagos to Rivers, to Benue, to Plateau, and other parts of the country. And now we're being told that governors want to rig. Number one, we're told that governors want to collude with INEC officials. Well, INEC officials must realize that if they collude with anybody, that would be a violation of the law. And the penalties are properly spelled out under Electoral 2022, on the basis of which INEC had previously said it was slamming errant INEC officials over the manipulation of the voters' registers with the force of the law. It's even more important to do so this time around. We're told that some governors are trying to mobilize thugs, buy military uniforms, or use vigilante groups to influence the outcome of the election. Well, again, to do so also will be a wrong thing. Although in many of the states, specifically Edo State, Cross River State, what you'll find is accusation, counter-accusation, the PDP saying this, the APC saying that. Of course, how do they say it? Nobody will say he ate his mother's yam with a missing knife. So this is the situation right now.
So viewers, I want to get your thoughts concerning this down in the comment section below. Please do well as to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification button so you can get more updates as we drop them.